tell you about my city, a little town where I'm from, where everybody's southern raised, just as good as they come. Backwoods and mossy oak and mud holes. And back then we only gave what the farm grow. Man, I miss some days how we played on them dirt roads. And out of towners came with respect, cause they know we all close. Yeah, Southern pride, towing gun folks. Welcome to my city, I-75 South, just north of Live Oak.
I'm from a city called Austin, Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods, running around this small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, title town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We get it up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey.
It's nothing like our dirt roads, you can bet that, son. I'm from a city, by any means we gon' protect our guns. I hang with the rednecks and geeks. We get up in big trucks in the backwoods like Indians and teepees. This the home of the mighty, mighty Vikings, Wildcats, Blazing, Titletown license winners, pretty girls with country grammar. When I say about Austin, Georgia, I ain't talking about Atlanta. This a different type of city, where the woods are pretty, but get gritty, you hear me? What you know about that 229? You can find us on the Florida, Georgia line, where I reside.
I'm from a city called Austin, Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods, running around this small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We get it up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey. Moonshine and whiskey.
Some folks really don't understand how important it is to never forget where you came from. You know, when I say Lowndes County, man, I mean Lowndes County.
I'm from a city called Austin, Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods, running around this small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, downtown, 239, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We get it up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey.
Hey, well, good evening. Welcome to the Viking Nation Live. It's Thursday night, and it is our celebration of the One Lowndes community. What's up, Lowndes County? Hope you guys have had a great week. We're off to a rocking start for the weekend, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. This has been a rough week. I'm telling you, this has been a rough week, and we're going to talk about those things tonight. You know, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it. Mainly because we do have to talk about it a little bit because the school system issued a statement regarding fan behavior, and I've been seeing some of the debate back and forth and that kind of stuff. So we're going to touch on it. We're going to touch on what it means, who it is or is not directed at, or is it directed at anybody? Is it directed at the public in general? So we're going to talk about all those things tonight. I wish we didn't have to talk about them. So we're going to touch on them, and then we're going to move on because, listen, I want to have a heart-to-heart talk with you guys. We talk about being a One Lowndes family all the time. And I know that a lot of families have dysfunction in them, and we're no different. But every family that I know is able to have disagreements, forgive each other, and then move forward. That's what a family does. So I'm going to count on you guys to hold up your end of the bargain. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to talk about the stuff, get it off, get it out in the open. Well, it doesn't do anybody any good to pretend like things didn't happen. But we're not going to stir the pot on this show. We're not going to pour fire or gasoline on the fire any of that stuff. So if you tuned in tonight to get that kind of juicy gossip, this is not the place for you. We're not going to do that, but we do have to talk about it a little bit in a respectful way. So before we do that, I'm sorry to my sponsors, but we got to talk about some of this stuff tonight. But I do want to thank our sponsors. And the first one is Pepsi of Valdosta. I'm so aggravated. Anyway, Pepsi of Valdosta, they have been our title sponsor all year long. So I want to make sure all you eyeballs that have tuned in tonight to check out what the heck is going on around here, I want to make sure you know about these sponsors, if you know what I mean. Pepsi of Valdosta makes a great product. Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Rockstar, Mountain Dew Energy, Mountain Dew Spark. Thank you so much to all the guys and gals at Pepsi of Valdosta. Thank you so much to Kyle Conger, White Oak Investment. Listen, if you want to chime in tonight, go ahead and put your comments into the White Oak Investment comment line tonight. I almost forgot what I called it. The White Oak Investment comment line tonight. Let's see. Oh, one of my super fans, Chase Garnto, says, I'll be on momentarily. You know what his delay is? He says, I'm making some sweet tea. Chase, I know that's important. I've got my coffee ready to go. You're going to need some caffeine tonight, brother. That's for sure. So no problem at all. So I want to thank Kyle Conger at White Oak Investment for being a sponsor of the show, for providing financial advice to me. I use Kyle all the time. We talk on a regular basis. So if you don't have a financial guy and you're looking for one, give Kyle a call. It's worth a phone call at White Oak Investment, 229-850-8848. Thank you so much to this guy, Tim Neesmith. We call him affectionately as Stickman. That's the name that everybody knows him as. But you know what? He has a great product of custom shades and blinds. So if you have a need for his product or service, give him a call. He's got a company called A Shade of Perfection. You know Timmy by now. He's a longtime lounge guy, and he provides a great product and service to lounge people. You don't have to be a lounge people to use his service. Shade of Perfection, custom shades and blinds by Tim Neesmith, 229-251-3479. We also want to thank these guys, the Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta. I almost called these guys because I've never had a migraine, but I think I came close this week. Yes, these guys, Josh Batson and Justin Haskin, they are your certified headache medicine specialists offering a variety of migraine and back pain treatments. Thank you so much to the Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta. Thank you to Chandler Kudik. He has been working overtime, even on a rainy day like today, getting people's pools ready, provides great service. He has a company called Aquaworks Pool Company. And this Chandler Kudik, 229-415-0752. And these guys, Imperial Auto Sales, that's Tony Green and Trey Hatcher. Thank you so much for trusting us in promoting your product there. They've got a company called Imperial Auto Sales where they offer the best used cars that you can find. If you've got in the market and you have a need for anything automotive related, give Tony or Trey a call. They've got 2 locations, one on Ashley Street, one on Bay Tree Road to help you out. So give them a call, Imperial Auto Sales. And then finally to this guy, Jason Castleberry. He's got a company called Case Tree Services. If you need to remove some trees, you need to grind them, get them out of the way, make your yard look pretty. Maybe you're still trying to recover from the storm. Give Jason a call. He specializes in tree cutting and removal. That's Case Tree Services, Jason Castleberry. You can reach him at 229-740-9626 and mention this ad. You can get a free stump grinding with any tree removal. Thank you so much to all of our advertisers. All right, let's go on and get on with the show here. I want to thank the sponsors. Listen, I've got my quote of the day. Quote of the day is this: peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. You know who said that? The one and only Ronald Reagan. In my opinion, the best president this country has ever had, bar none, even better than George Washington. That's just my opinion. You can disagree. But that's what he said. Peace is not the absence of conflict, because we're all going to have conflict. But peace is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. So I think everybody would be wise to take that to heart. So there was a statement that was issued today by the Lowndes school system. And I'm going to read this statement. Many of you have already read it, but it's worth going over again. This is a statement from Lowndes County Schools regarding fan behavior. Because everybody knows by now, there was an incident after the Wintersville Classic football game last week. And so we're not going to go into all the details. You guys are known by now. Some of you know it, some of you don't. Some of you pretend like you know it, but it hasn't stopped anybody from opining in this situation. So that situation and other situations has led to this statement from the Lowndes County Lowndes County Schools. It says let's get down to the good stuff. We recognize we have a very passionate and vocal fan base. For years, we have taken pride in the way we travel and cheer for our football team, band, and cheerleaders. We want our fans to continue to cheer the team on to victory and enjoy our halftime shows. We do insist that certain decorum is followed. Profanity use in any manner will not be tolerated. And this is me providing commentary. Hear. I'm tired of hearing the profanity as well. And that's from everybody. Our student section, our fans, everybody. I can't stand the use of profanity. So I'm glad they're implementing this program, this policy. They go on to say, we also recognize many of our fans consider themselves very knowledgeable of the game. We respect your opinions and have no problem with you voicing them as long as profanity is not used and you do not make it personal with player and or coaches' families. Now, this is when people start pointing fingers like, yeah, we know who they're talking about, that kind of stuff. But you don't know who you're talking about, who they're talking about. The singling out and personal attacks on any individuals is not acceptable fan behavior. And that goes both ways, not just one person, but multiple people in this incident that everybody's talking about. Because it's not what you think. I'm just telling you, it's not. So they go on to say, any fans using profanity in any manner and or exhibiting these behaviors will be removed from the stadium and their privilege to attend future games will be revoked. Personally, I think that last bit's a little harsh. Maybe you issue a warning, but to ban them and revoke their privileges from all future events, I think that's a little harsh, but I'm not a policymaker. They go on to say, please make plans to join us for Homecoming 23 and help cheer our Vikings on to victory. Come proud and be loud, but please keep it respectful. Thank you for your support and go Vikings. Overall, I think the policy is outstanding. I got a little questions around the fringes, that kind of stuff about implementation and due process. And is it overly harsh? That kind of stuff. Does it apply to players? Does it apply to coaches? Because they're, fans, and they're not the only ones that use profanity, that kind of stuff. So we're going to have a consistent policy. You got to have a consistent policy. So anyway, that's the policy. Okay. That's the policy. So everybody thinks they know what happened. I'm going to play a video clip, not of the incidents, and don't get all excited. I'm going to play a video clip of something that I think has contributed to the Whisper campaign this week. Okay, so I'm going to play this. So Chase, our one of our fellow super fans, Chase, I'm going to play this video and you give me a thumbs up if you can hear it, because we did do a sound check and you were able to hear it earlier. All right, so here we go. And this video is only about 1 minute and 49 seconds, so it's not going to take long enough.
Did you ask Jeremy to pass the popcorn?
No.
But why?
But he's like way over there.
Just pass it on.
Dude, last time we did a Whisper train, everyone got sucked into a pyramid scheme.
Please. I'm so hungry.
Fine. Matt wants the popcorn.
Matt bought the popcorn. Matt bought a newborn.
Matt bought a baby Bjorn.
Adam has bad breath.
Adam has it bad for Beth.
Wait, who's Beth?
I am.
I think I have a chance with Beth.
What did Aaron say?
I wasn't paying attention.
Ask him again.
What? What did you say? I think I'm gonna ask out Beth.
Well,
I forgot what he said.
Jason's an idiot.
Jason's an idiot. Well, I thought you were sitting over there.
I was, but I love the juicy gossip. Jason's a what?
He's an idiot.
I knew that.
Matt wants the popcorn.
Oh, Matt wants the popcorn.
No.
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 Oh.
No.
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 Guys, I can hear all of you.
He said no.
All right, that was kind of a comical skit to illustrate what's been happening this week.
Oh, yeah.
Right around this community. People's names have been thrown left and right, people that weren't even involved, all kinds of ridiculous things.
Mm-hmm.
I even got a call today asking me, I heard this person was banned from all future athletic events. Is that true? Like, well, I don't know. I haven't heard that. So I made a call to some administrators like, no, that's just a rumor. That's not true. So let me go ahead and tell you unequivocally, no one has been banned from Lowndes athletic events that was involved in this incident. No one, period. No one. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do away with that. Now, this particular incident that we're talking about, we're not talking about the what happened with the players and the cheerleaders after the game, that kind of stuff. That's still being looked into by both school systems, I've been assured. So what I'm talking about is what happened in the stands. So I wasn't there. You weren't there.
I wasn't either. Nope.
So that's why I'm about to halt this conversation, because I wasn't there. I haven't seen or heard anything. All I know is I do know two people that were sitting right next to. One of them was the associational minister to the Valdosta Baptist Association. He was sitting right next to the person in question. And right next to him was my mom. And I trust her with my life. And so after the game was over, I'd heard about what happened. So I asked them both. I was talking to my mom on the way home. I was like, tell me what happened. So she told me what happened. And I can tell you unequivocally, this is what she told me. Billy did nothing wrong. I'm just going to clear his name. I'm just telling you, that's what she told me. And I trust her. So I called the other person that was sitting right next to him. And he told me, yeah, he was loud, but he didn't start the conversation. So, well, did he cuss? Did he use profanity? No. Well, did he tell the coach to pack his stuff up and go back to Grayson? No. What did he say? He was complaining about the defense that we were running. And Chase, I'll be honest with you. Half of our fans in the stadium was complaining about that.
Yeah,
I'm not a coach, so I'm not an expert to say whether it's a good defense or not, right? But that's what I was told by Michael and my mom that he was complaining about.
Yeah.
And that's what started this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
And he's well within his right to complain.
That's right. So anyway, no one is banned. Both parties want this situation to basically disappear because it's caused disruption and a problem that really shouldn't have been a problem to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, man, I've gotten calls about it just like you have, Larry, and like I've told them. I wasn't in the stands. I didn't hear it. I didn't see it. I don't really know what transpired. So for me to sit here and say, I know what was said, or I heard this, or I heard that, would just be me speculating as to what happened. So I'm not gonna get involved in that at all.
That's right. That's right. So Leslie Zekman, he says, would you like to speak to anyone else? Listen, Leslie, anybody can call me at any time. I'm not involved in the situation. I'm just telling you what
What's wrong?
two people that was sitting next to me said. So if you want, listen, if you want to call me, call me. I don't turn away phone calls from any fan. So anyway, that's all we're going to talk about. That if you guys want to continue to talk about that, then fine. But the other thing was, the situation after the game with the players. Like I said, both schools are looking into it. That's what I've been told. So they haven't released their findings yet. I do hope they release their findings. Just one, if people's names need to be cleared, then they need to be cleared. If people were guilty of what they've been accused of doing, then they need to be punished.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. If we had a student that actually used a racial slur and it's found out that they did it, then they need to be punished accordingly. If a player knocked over a cheerleader, whether it was on purpose or accident, and it's found out they did that, they need to be punished accordingly. That's just the way the system works. That's the only fair way to do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the only thing that I will say about that after the game situation. I will say this. In regard to this policy, this no profanity policy that Lyons County School System, I hope it applies to all student section across the state. I know Lowndes can't force any other school, but I hope other schools follow Lowndes' lead and adopts this rule. They really do. I think they really should, because how many student sections? Not just Lowndes. I'm not picking on the Lowndes school, because I've gone to many ball games. You've gone to many ball games, home and away, and we've heard student sections, whether it's at
They're relentless.
East Coweta, and I'm not singling them out. I'm just saying all student sections get rowdy and they antagonize opposing players and that kind of stuff, which is fine. That's all fine. That's all fun. But when it crosses the line, that's when it needs to be shut down by administrators that are on site.
Yeah, now I will say this as far as when the administration starts looking into things like this, I kind of veer towards the legal aspect of it. It is never whatever students are accused of doing what. I want these students to remember when it comes down to certain stuff like that, and when it comes down to a legal issue, remember it's never your job. It's never your job to prove you didn't do it. It's their job to prove you did.
Yeah.
So, and we were all there. We all saw some of the things that went on, but like as far as all the racial slurs and stuff like that, if that's happening, that definitely needs to be squashed and needs to be shut down immediately, because
Absolutely, man.
that
Absolutely.
has no place in a student section, no place in the fan section, no place in the band section. And yes, does it happen on the field? Yes. It happens between players talking to each other. But it's more of, it's not a racial slur when some of the players use it, but it doesn't need to be there either way.
Listen, I'm not an expert in slang, street slang. Listen, when you and I were in school, we had our own. Kids always have their own language that they speak, right?
Yeah.
It was that way at Berrien High. We had our own language that we spoke that adults didn't quite understand, that kind of stuff. And now that I'm 50 something, the kids nowadays have a language that I don't necessarily understand.
Yeah.
Because I've heard students and players call themselves the N-word, but I've been told by kids that they have a different pronunciation. It ends with a GA instead of an ER. And I'm told that there's a difference, and I don't understand the difference. I wish they would just stop, period.
Yeah, I don't know. I have an immense amount of black friends, and I've heard them use it with each other. But I also know some other black people that just don't like to use the word period.
Yeah.
They have a very strict stance on it. And I respect them for it. But when it comes down to being used as a racial slur to describe somebody, that's where you got to draw the line. Especially in today's age. Um, it's just you can't do that. And if our fan section is doing that, then the administration needs to step in and do something about it. And it can't you can't allow it to continue. It needs to be a harsh drawn line in the sand that says you're not going to do this or else this is going to happen. And once you do this and this happens, there is no going back.
That's right. And then this is, I guess, the next to last thing I'll say about fan decorum. And that's, I want to ask people to ask themselves this question before they hit send. When they're tempted to say something on social media or to call someone or to blast someone at the game, ask this question. Is this situation worth losing a friend over? Because that's what's about to happen if you press that send key. You're going to lose a friend. Is this worth losing a friend over? Now, Emmy Gary, she was the winner of last week's drawing. Oh, by the way, if you want to enter for your chance to win tonight's giveaway, then go ahead and type in #1Lounge into the comments. I'm just
Wait, wait. We're doing a giveaway again?
Yes, because I told you before the show that we were not going to do a giveaway, but I forgot to announce it. And a lot of people have already typed in #1Lounge.
Okay. Well, what are we giving away? Are we going to give away LG's crazy hat?
No, we're not giving away LG's crazy. Let me go ahead and put on my crazy hat.
Oh, God. I apologize, guys, in advance. I did not mean for him to do this.
It's a hard hat.
Oh,
so
Lord.
I felt like I needed this tonight. I bought this at the Hayhira Honeybee Festival last weekend. Dude, check this out.
Hey, now, yeah.
Check it. So it's my lounge hard hat. Kind of crooked.
Hey, it's kind of pretty much all spot on too, because we're kind of in a construction phase.
Yeah, that's right. So, but anyway, this is my hard hat. But the way I'm having the discussion, would you rather have this one?
Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh.
So anyway, what I was saying about Emmy Garrett, she won the drawing last week. And she says, "Hi, Larry, I completely forgot about the 24-hour rule. I remember the next day and erased my comments a little too late." So what Emmy is referring to is, look, I don't expect anyone to follow this advice except for me. I put this muzzle on myself from experience years ago after an emotional loss. And it actually happened to be the Wintersville Classic. After an emotional loss, I got stupid and started mouthing off. And I lost several friendships over it. And I learned a valuable lesson that night. Guys, it's not worth it. We are on this earth too short of a period. It's not worth it. Just between you and me, Chase, this is high school football.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes on its own form down here for sure.
When you take a look at some other spots of the world that's going through some tragedy right now, this is high school football, guys. This is nothing. So anyway, so I speak from personal experience, Emmy, when I issued that 24-hour rule on myself, and I would suggest other people follow it. And it basically says this: after a loss, especially an emotional loss, don't say anything. Don't post anything. Don't reply to anybody for 24 hours to allow yourself to calm down. Right?
Yeah.
I was talking to someone today about that very thing. They got very, very angry with someone on that they'd read on social media, and they wanted to blast this person and or organization. And I said, would you at least sit on it for 24 hours? Just calm down. Just sit on it for 20. If you feel the same way tomorrow, then fine, do what you got to do. But man, just sit on it for 24 hours. And I hope they followed my advice.
Yeah. I promise you, it didn't matter if I sat on this loss for 24, 48, 70. It didn't matter. The longer I sat on this loss, the worse it got. So
That's right. Hey, Daryl Britt, he's a Cat fan. He said, should have worn that hard hat Friday night because Eric Brantley was doing some construction all night last week on both sides of the ball. I'll say this, Daryl. Eric Brantley is a heck of a football player.
oh yeah, absolutely.
He is going to do some
Absolutely.
special things out of Colorado when he hooks up with Deion Sanders out there. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, I know we've got some Cat fans that are watching
Hey, that's
tonight,
all right.
Valdosta
You
fans.
might want to remind them cats that Marlon Evans was doing some construction of his own.
I gotta say, Chase, that for about 3/4 of that game, if you're a Cat fan, you probably were puckered up a little bit.
Yeah, you were kind of angry.
You were kind of upset. It's like, oh boy, are these Vikings going to pull it off? Because our boys played better than a lot of people expected.
They did. They did. They did. They moved some people around, and it got.
Yeah, so I'll say this. I was listening to an interview that Marty Rogers had with Coleman Lewis. He was one of the co-defensive players of the week, and he was asked about what happened in the second half, especially late in the second half. Valdosta was able to overcome their deficit, take the lead, and you know what Coleman Lewis said? He basically said, "We were just gassed." So kudos to Valdosta for picking out a weakness of the Lowndes defense and pounding it over and over and over again. Because our guys on defense were just gassed. You know why? Because that run game of Valdosta was in full force. They had over 400 yards rushing. When you pound on a defense with your running game for 400 yards, yeah, that defense is going to be gassed. It really is. And that's basically what happened. That was the tale of two halves, as Jerry Safford said, But kudos to if you're a Viking fan, kudos to our Lowndes fans or our Lowndes team, because those guys came out and did the unexpected, which was to go up on Valdosta by 2 scores. Let's be honest. You guys were expecting Lowndes to fold like a cheap suit from the very kickoff, and that first touchdown, Valdosta, Todd Robinson, that dude's got some speed for a guy that big. He's got some speed. When he bolted for that long touchdown run, I guarantee you, because I thought it, every Lowndes fan was like, oh, Lord, this is going to be a long night. But hats off to our Viking players, man. They didn't give in. They didn't cave. So they did a lot better than many, many people expected. So hats off to the Lowndes coaches, the Lowndes players for shutting out the noise and doing what Vikings do is just grind. You never know what's going to happen in a football game. You just grind. Yeah, Trainer says, and Carter did not change the secondary players in that game or the Grayson game. That's a coaching issue, Trainer. It sounds like you've got some coaching experience. Maybe you're right. I have no idea, but I will say that I'm not a coach, so I don't know. We do have some issues with our secondary. I've said that pretty consistently over and over and over again. And those issues have been going on for like 2 decades now. So that ain't just Carter's fault, right? That's been going on for a while. Belinda Grant, she's checking in with us. She says, love my Vikings, LHS class of 71. So, yeah, Belinda, thank you so much for being a Lowndes fan. Sean Pride said Wildcats were going up tempo. When in the second half, Chase, Valdosta, they went up tempo and it caught us flat-footed, and we just could not recover from that. Once they did that, you could see that momentum shift mightily in the second half.
Yeah, they done it in the first half too. They just didn't keep it up. They would go up tempo and then they would back out of it. And that's just a tactic used to see what's working best, so you have something to base off for the second half.
Right.
I thought Valdosta did a really good job with their up tempo. We just got to find better ways to get after the quarterback. I think realistically, you can't expect your secondary. This doesn't matter at any level, whether it's high school, college, or any level. You can't, unless your secondary can hold up forever, you got to have a pass rush.
That's right.
And right now, we just don't have a pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, no truer words were spoken, man. You're right. We are having trouble getting pressure on the quarterback. That is for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, if you want to opine, if you want to call in, give us your opinion on the game, give us a shout. 229-469-1205. I'll put that number right there on the screen. I know
Now,
many of you are shy and rather put your thoughts into the comments, but
I thought the secondary did okay for most of the game.
Now some of our fans would disagree with you.
Because you're looking at at how much they're moving the ball, not what they're doing.
Yeah.
I look at what they're doing. The secondary is improving. I think they're improving within the scheme, should I say. But until again, I'm a big fan of pressing down on a receiver on the outside, not letting them get off the ball clean. I still don't see enough of that happening, and we've got the guys to do it. I also I was impressed with how well we run the football at times Friday night. That was much better than we did in Grayson, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So that was improved. I thought Smoke ran the ball really well. Thought Road Dog did some good things with the ball in his hands. But I'll tell you, the two shining lights Friday night for Lowndes was Jalen Carter and Aiden Sifa with their two big time catches. I thought those guys made some high level catches. Especially, would take Jalen Carter's catch, for instance, at the front corner of the end zone. The throw was not thrown where it needed to be. I'll go ahead and say that throw was not great.
Yeah.
By no means. Jalen had to adjust back to it, had to spin himself around, make the catch, and still had enough field awareness to be able to turn and land himself into the end zone inside of the pylon. Aiden Sifa's catch, great awareness, knowing where he was at, great foot placement to being able to just realize, hey, I'm not going to get this clean. I'm going to have to fall. I'm going to have to catch this as I'm falling. Great ball concentration by both him. Yeah, great ball concentration by both him and Jalen Carter Friday night. They were spectacular.
Absolutely. Listen, man, Road Dog had a big game as well, man.
Yeah,
coming off an injury.
Candace
reminds us coming off an injury the way that he did. He was running hard.
Yeah, him and Smoke both were running downhill hard and with bad intentions. I just thought with the run game being I would have kept feeding the run game, but that's just me. If I'm that coach and I'm in that situation, I keep feeding the horses, getting it there, man. I mean, you don't. Football 101, the lesson I learned early on in football is it's not my job to change what I'm doing. If it's working, it's your job to stop me.
That's right.
So,
hey, listen, let me go ahead and take a break from the football talk just for a brief couple of minutes and congratulate and say thank you to some seniors. And that's the seniors from the Lowndes not softball, but volleyball team. Okay. So let me go ahead and say thank you. Let me change this so everybody can see them. There we go. Okay. So these players are, let me go ahead and pull that back up. Hold on one second. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and roll through these pictures right here. Man, I just love celebrating seniors. I really do. And they deserve all the credit, whether a football player, softball, volleyball, baseball, whatever. So all these outstanding seniors do a great job every year. And let me go ahead and say who they are. Jaden Best, Millie Prince, Leah Slavin. And these names don't necessarily correspond with the picture on the screen because I have them out of order. Emma Register, Annabelle Kerrigan, and Amelia Green. Again, that's Jaden Best, Millie Prince, Leah Slavin, Emma Register, Annabelle Kerrigan, and Amelia Green. Thank you so much, ladies, for making the volleyball team as special as it is. Thank you so much for contributing
Absolutely.
4 years of your high school career. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the season and the rest of your academic career, whatever you choose to do. So thank you so much to all these volleyball seniors. So anyway, okay. See, we try our best to promote all these athletes out there.
Absolutely, we do, man. I mean, look, Larry will tell you, I'm a big basketball guy as well as I am a football guy. I'm trying my best to figure out how to work going to some Lowndes High basketball games this year into my schedule.
Yeah.
Because I think those guys deserve all the support in the world. Basketball is one of those sports that's kind of overlooked down this way. So if you can make it out to a basketball game and you can support those guys, I promise you those guys work extremely hard. That coaching staff is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so let me go ahead and talk about some of these. I'm laughing because I'm chuckling to keep from crying because I'm about to go over the stats.
Oh Lord! Oh Lord!
But we do this every week, so we're trying to be consistent. All right, so
God,
passing on the night, we were 7 of 13 for 50 yards, slightly over 500 pass completion ratio. But we had a QB rating of 102.6. Rushing, we had 157 yards. Smoke led the way with 108 yards on 15 carries. Think about that. 15 carries, 108 yards. So overall, though, we had a little over 200 yards of total offense. I don't care if it's Valdosta or Berrien County. You got to have more than 200. Well, maybe not Berrien County. You can probably beat Berrien with 100 yards of offense. I hope none of my Berrien peeps are watching me say that. So you got to have more than 200 yards of offense to beat a quality team, right?
Yeah, at this level,
and Valdosta is no different. Now, Valdosta, on the other hand, their passing game wasn't that great as well. Todd Robinson was 6 of 11 for 50 yards. Prince Jean had he was 1 of 1 for 25 yards for a total of 75 yards, and that last one was a backbreaker. Man, that was a backbreaker. All right, so rushing, this is where they killed us, Chase. 434 yards of rushing. Now, here's the bad news. The two culprits that were responsible for the vast majority of those yards, Todd Robinson, according to Max Preps, is a junior. And is it pronounced Daron or Darren Foster?
Daron Foster.
Hey, number 11.
Larry,
he is a freshman.
Hold on, Larry. We just affectionately know him as Live at 5.
Live at 5. I don't know where you come up with these nicknames. Mr. Waffle House, Live at 5. I don't care what you call him. I just call him Touchdown because Daron Foster, as a freshman, had 19 carries for 142 yards.
Yes, that kid. Look, I tried to warn y'all. I tried, Viking family.
I remembered you mentioned his name several weeks ago.
I tried to tell y'all that boy is a true running back, and he can flat run with the rock. Yep. He's always been that guy.
Yep,
he makes people look silly. This kid is and he's been running the ball like that since Pop Warner, since junior Pee Wee and Pee Wee ball. Like he has been that dude.
Absolutely. Hey, Nays McNeil is speaking my language. He says, so proud of the Vikings. Let me go ahead and put this on screen. So proud of the Vikings. I love what Coach Carter's instilling in this team. Chess, not checkers. Nays, you know why I love that comment? Because when I was at Berrien High, Chase, I was a member of the chess team, and we competed at all these region chess tournaments. So I appreciate that comment, getting a little chess team action there into it.
Yeah, it is definitely chess. It's definitely chess and not checkers. And I will say this, and you've alluded to this a couple of times. We had Mac, who was a extreme disciplinarian, ran a very disciplined program.
Yeah.
Then we brought in Coach DeBose, which was, for let's face it, more of a player's coach. And things kind of went kind of wild there for a couple of years. And then you brought in Grage, which was a disciplinarian, but he
Yeah.
was extreme disciplinarian. And then you brought in Carter, who's a disciplinarian, but he's a disciplinarian with heart and compassion. And I think he just wants what's best for these kids, and he's trying to find a way to bring out what's best for these kids.
Yeah.
He's brought in a great coaching staff. One of the biggest assets that Carter brought with him was Coach Mitchell.
Sure.
Coach Mitchell is probably one of the greatest recruiting coordinators in the state of Georgia, and he's right here at Lowndes.
His
but-
evidence speaks for itself.
Yeah, exactly. But I will say this. Now, I heard some fans Friday night. I heard this. I heard some fans telling him to shouting from the stands, telling him to pack his stuff and go back to Grayson.
Now, I did too. Now, I did
I
hear some
heard that.
fans. It just wasn't Billy Pearson.
It wasn't Billy. No. Because when I heard it, I turned around. I saw the guy that said it. Okay, it wasn't Billy. Far cry from Billy Pearson. If that's the way you feel, let me put this as bluntly as I can and as nicely as I can. You're part of the problem.
Yeah,
If
I agree
you
with
think
you.
that way, if you think that getting rid of a coach every single season is going to solve the problem, it's not. That is
We can't.
never
We got to
the
stop
answer.
doing that. We can't do that.
Yeah, this is Lowndes High. This ain't Valdosta, and it's no stab at Valdosta, but they've been through their slew of head coaches since Hyder. This is not Berrien County. Y'all been through a fair amount of head coaches. So stop.
Hold up. I just put you in the penalty box, man. Disparaging my Berrien County Rebels that way, man. You can't. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Intentional.
All right, so consider yourself warned. I'm just telling you, man. I'm just telling you. Oh, I put you on mute again. Sorry about that.
It wasn't intentional. I was using them as a example. We have long tenured head coaches. Bringing in a new head coach just because they don't meet your criteria on year one is not the answer. Stop with that nonsense.
That's right.
I used to be the same way, man. I used to think the exact same way every time. And Coach Mack is a friend of mine. Every time Coach Mack would have a bad season or a bad game, I'd be like, man, he's getting too old. He's
That's
this,
right.
he's that. It doesn't solve anything. You're part of the problem. Be part of the solution. Get behind these kids, get behind these coaches, and stop with the nonsense.
Yeah, listen, I'm about to ban someone off this broadcast tonight. My daughter, Laren Godwin, says, "Stop muting people, Dad." She calling me out, Chase.
Hey, but in my defense, though, that's the first time Larry's ever had to mute me. So.
So, John Carroll says Larry just threw Berrien under the bus. John, you guys know how this works.
You did like 10 minutes before. So,
I know, but you guys know how this works. You can make fun of your own family, but if someone else tries to do it, that's when words get heated, right? That's just the way the world works. All right, so Randy Steedley with Spirit Screen Printing. It's no secret. Randy's a Cat fan, but he says Adam Carter's a great coach, and you're lucky to have him. Can't think of a better man for Lowndes. Appreciate that, Randy. And by the way, he produces great shirts. So if you need some apparel, go see Randy Steedley at Spirit Screen Printing.
And here's another thing. Y'all heard from a Grayson fan a week ago. 2 weeks ago, Larry?
Yeah.
He literally told y'all and told us that you have to give Carter's plan for this program time to take root, to take hold, and he'll get you there. You just have to give him time. So I implore all fans, and I'm guilty of it. LG will tell you I'm guilty of it. Just observe LG's 24-hour rule. The next Lowndes game that Lowndes loses, observe the 24-hour rule. Take yourself off of social media. Now, granted, I'm on social media all the time. I read all the comments. I try my best not to respond. I've learned that from LG. Y'all can thank LG for that because I used to be one of the first ones to get in a Facebook war. You've got to observe LG's 24-hour rule. It's saved me a lot of heartache, saved me a lot of back and forth with people that just was a waste of time. But show up now. Granted, I get that a lot of Lounge fans don't like the 3-down lineman. I'm not a big fan of the 3-down lineman on defense. But that's not our call. We're not the coaches. We're not paid to do that. That's not our job. So what can you do? You can support it. You can question it. If you want to go to coach's show and ask Carter questions yourself, I'm sure they'll love to have you.
Yeah.
But keep it decent and keep it respectful. Here's the thing. You're not doing the kids any favors by constantly criticizing the coaches.
That's right.
You're not. Because all the kids hear is, well, the fans don't like the coach, so I guess we shouldn't like him either. Or the fans don't agree with this, so maybe we shouldn't agree with it either. And trust me, I know these kids. I know a lot of these kids that's in this program. They hear everything y'all say on Friday night. They absorb it and they soak it in. It lingers in the back of their minds. If you think it doesn't affect them, you're wrong.
Yep. I agree, man.
You're talking about 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids that are hearing y'all doubt the man that's leading them in the battle every Friday night.
Yep.
And I'm a big proponent of fans saying whatever they want to say. That's fine, cool. I'm all for it. But just remember, what you say has an impact on the very kids that you think you're protecting and you think you're helping.
Yep. I agree, man. I agree. Guys, if you want to opine tonight, it sounds like you guys are kind of shy about calling in, but you don't mind putting your comments out there. That's for sure. But if you would like to call, give us a call, 229-469-1205. If not, go ahead and take advantage of the White Oak Investment comment line. If you would also like to enter in tonight's drawing, go ahead and type into the comments, #OneLounge. Just like you see on the screen right there, your bottom of your screen, #OneLounge.
Hey, that reminds me, LG. I forgot to congratulate your Georgia Bulldogs up there. So I see they finally showed up and decided to play a complete game this past weekend.
Well, boy, did they ever.
Hey, man. Hey, I've been waiting on them. It only took them, 6 weeks?
Hey, listen, better late than never.
Hey, better late to the party than not show up at all.
Listen, you can dog them all you want to for their soft schedule. They're still 6-0.
Yeah.
They're still 6-0. Right?
So hey, my Noles are still undefeated.
That's exactly right. It took Clemson missing a chip shot field goal to make that happen, but I'm right there with you, man. Undefeated's undefeated.
Hey, if you win by an inch or by a mile, winning's winning.
Laura Wiles Rogers says, LG, let your mama win. Now there's a story behind that.
Oh Lord. I was fixing to say there's got to be something behind that.
So my mom and I, everybody knows that my mom and I go to all the games together. So this is just something that she just enjoys doing. So we go to these games. So anyway, we're walking up to the stadium and we see Laura and her husband get out of their vehicles. And I said to them, I was like, man, how you been doing? I haven't seen you in many, many years. How are you? Do you know what that dude said to me? He says, well, I see you every Thursday night. And I was like, oh. So he's a loyal watcher of the show, that kind of stuff. And he kind of busted me right there. But so thank you so much to the Rogers for checking us out every Thursday night. And that's so we're having a conversation as we're walking up to the stadium, and my mom is telling them and basically getting on to me for not letting her win the drawing. And I assured them, I said, this is how you know it's a random draw, because I don't even let my mom win, right? Because I don't have any way to control the software. It is a random draw.
That's right. That's right.
So I turned to my mom and says, I hope you have better luck next time. So anyway, I actually should just give her a shirt, shouldn't I?
Probably so.
Yeah. So maybe I'll do that. I'll give her a shirt tomorrow night. So anyway, and I figured out why Greg Maddox is a little bit chippy tonight, because he and I got some business to settle tomorrow night up in Adel, I think. And that is the annual hate game between the Berrien County Rebels and the Cook County Hornets. 7:30 at Cook High Stadium.
Now, LG, I ain't trying to wind up in the penalty box again.
Don't say it, man. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I think them Cook Hornets gonna beat y'all, man. I really do. I'm a Slack guy, bro. Hey, believe it or not, Slack was in the building Friday night.
Listen, I remember during my high school days, those rivalry games got intense.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I remember one year, some Cook fans came over and spray painted our field house. And so I think the following year, some of our fans, and they were probably students on both sides. That's the ones that usually do this stuff. So I remember one year we had some fans go over there. I think this is what I heard, that they'd put a running water hose through one of the windows of a classroom, and that water hose ran all night. So that's the kind of stuff they did back then.
Oh yeah. It got pretty brutal. Even the Lions and Valdosta rivalry used to get pretty bad.
That's right. So anyway, so we're talking about this Lowndes Valdosta game. Chase, I'm going to put you on the spot here. So Valdosta has won 2 in a row. Is this a temporary drought that we're going through?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or is this a trend?
No, it's not. It's not a trend, Larry. It's not. Valdosta's called us on 2 down years.
Yeah.
They knew that and you can ask any true football fan, whether they're a Wildcat fan or not, they'll own up to the fact that they know they're catching us on down years right now. They know we don't have the high powered studs that we had for 8 solid years at Lowndes. So, hey, by all means, hats off to them. They took advantage of the situations. They're taking advantage of us while we're down. It's what happens. It's what we do. It's what football coaches do. So, I mean, hats off to them. I'm not going to knock them for it. However, I will say that for 2 Valdosta teams for the last 2 years, that were all world. Last year, Valdosta came in one of the top ranked defenses, probably in Georgia.
You're right. They had those 2 bookend defensive ends, and man, they shut down everything. And that was a very close game, though, 13-6.
That was a very, very close game, and Lowndes had an opportunity to win it right there close to the end. So I want Valdosta to remember that.
And I think Lowndes had a touchdown that was called back on a penalty.
Yes,
as well.
I believe they did. I believe they did. And this year, up until a few miscues by Lowndes was pretty much right there with y'all. So, how do I put this and be tactful about it? If that's the best y'all are producing at Valdosta, and y'all are barely beating the worst we've got right now, don't say much. I'll be honest with you.
Can you answer a question for me?
Mm-hmm.
Casey Harrells puts an interesting comment. She says, "We in on the quote." How would you put it on the screen? We in on the in Ace we trust bandwagon, but smoke up the middle every play. Come on now, and we all know Smoke is fire. Just saying. So, what does that mean? In Ace we trust? Is that another nickname? I don't know what that means.
I guess they're referring to the Adam Carter era.
Oh, got it. I thought Casey had some insider information, and she was picking at me for some reason.
No, I think that stands for the Adam Carter era. Now, Casey, I'm inclined to agree, but Friday night, Smoke was doing his thing, but now notice he wasn't trying to run up the A gap with a lot of the yardage he was given. So yeah, I agree. I don't like Smoke up the middle every play. I don't. But it's not my call. I'm not the OC. I'm not Adam Carter. Now, if I had a back like Smoke, I would use him differently. I would set him up in some outside swings, some wheel routes, get him out in open space where he can really do some monstrous damage.
Right. Listen, I know you're trying to get serious and talk football, and I'm just in a mood to clown with our commenters.
Was I not supposed to?
You are. I know you and I kind of talked before the show. It's like, just keep me on track. Just keep me focused. Keep me on track. So here's me coming off the rails. So Casey's talking about the Adam Carter era. Candace talked about that. Then Casey says, you were supposed to make shirts. I kind of vaguely remember talking about the Adam Carter era when he first got here, and we referred to that. The AC ate him. I was like, I can't. Now, here's what I'm going to tell myself. Here's what I thought she meant. For some reason, I thought Casey had some insider information because my good friend, Lowndes guy, David Mayer, I don't know if he still goes to the game or not, but when he and I used to work together at the same company, this was 2 decades ago, right? I was brand new in the medical sales world. And I was working for a large pharmaceutical company. And they had some type of diversity initiative, some type of cultural exchange, diversity initiative, that kind of stuff. And we were getting, back then, we didn't have Teams calls or video calls and Zoom, whatever. We just had regular voicemail. So we would all call in voicemail several times a day and check our voicemail from the company. So one of these voicemails, they were telling us that we needed to take diversity serious and reach out to other people that are not like us and learn about cultures and that kind of stuff. And I called my manager and I said, Alan, I'm offended by this demand by the company. And he says, what are you talking about? I said, Alan, why do I have to participate? I am Mr. Diversity. I said, look at me. I'm an Asian man in South Georgia. I am Mr. Diversity. As a matter of fact, I said, Alan, as a matter of fact, you can call me the Asian Cultural Experience, or ACE for short.
Oh, Lord.
So I had 5 people on my sales team back then, and they had all heard what I said to Alan, our manager, and I was just goofing off at the time. And they all heard me refer to myself as ACE, the Asian Cultural Experience. And they made it a point to tell every customer in South and Middle Georgia that we had. And I would walk into offices for several weeks, and had one Filipino doctor said one time, he says, I didn't know you were a fellow ACE. Welcome to the club, ACE. It's like, oh
man,
what have I done? So anyway, that's what I thought Casey were referring to. So I thought Casey had some insider information there. So, but no, it stands for the Adam Carter era. So
hey, I got an idea. Why don't we get some shirts made that said compete in the ACE?
There you go. I like it. Glenda Palmer is laughing at me now. Now, John Carroll, he's making a play on words. He says it's the Asian cowboy experience.
Oh, Lord, please. See, this is I can't.
There you go.
This is why I can't.
Jody Hewitt is trying to get us back on track. He says, I disagree, but many times the outside run has been called, and yet it gets bounced inside. That is true.
That is
Jody,
true.
that is true. I hear it from a lot of fans will scream at the coach, whether it was Randy, Jamie DuBose, Zach Grage, and now Adam Carter. They say, all we do is run up the middle all the time. But that's not true. Sometimes we will call a play that's supposed to design to go outside, but for whatever reason, it's blocked off and they bounce back inside. And all the fan sees is the running back trying to run up the middle.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, and Jody's right. Sometimes you teach running backs that if this hole's closed, bounce it back this way or that way. You teach running backs that. And a lot of times in the past, because of the mountainous offensive lineman Lowndes has had, bouncing it back inside winded up bouncing it to an open hole, and you were able to go the other direction with it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get what he's saying, but there again, we don't have them mountainous offensive linemen we used to have either.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Candace says, attack the sidelines. Might I add, you got a playmaker getting himself open every play. I think she's talking about Mr. Waffle House.
She's talking about Mr. Waffle House. Hey, you
get the ball out into space.
Look, you finally started watching him when even the ball wasn't thrown to him. You said yourself, the man is always open.
Every time we need a clutch play, I'm looking for Jalen. Now I'm afraid that a lot of defenses are starting to pick up on this as well.
They are. I saw him get double teamed a couple of times Friday night. But you also, when you have a big unit like Aiden Sifa,
Yeah.
You got to scheme. You got to scheme something for him too. And I thought they done a really good job the couple of times they went to him Friday night. But you got to get it to him more. You got to get it to him more. Um, I just I just don't understand how you have a unit that big and you can't get the ball to him more than you do. And I don't see how
Absolutely.
you can have a kid. I don't see how you can have a kid as wide open as Jalen is a lot of times, especially on those out routes. He is lethal on those quick outs. You just gotta get the ball to him. You gotta get
That
it. You gotta get it out faster.
that's exactly right. All right, so let's talk about the region standings. All right. Listen, man, this thing, that hat gets hot. You guys think I enjoy doing that? That gets hats.
We dead last. Colquitt's number one. We know how to. We everything else is just.
Okay, so Colquitt is not number one in the region because they haven't played a region game yet.
Region. I don't know who's doing that.
Listen, Camden County is at 1-0 in the region. They defeated, but listen, everybody thinks that Richmond Hill is going to be the doormat of the region. Richmond Hill was beating Camden by 2 touchdowns with 10 minutes left in the game. Camden comes storming back. They go up 35-28 or 35. So anyway, so Richmond Hill gets the ball. They drive down the field in a hurry. They score it to bring it to 35-33. They go for a 2-point conversion and they fail. And Camden wins at 35-33. So my point is Richmond Hill is not the doormat. They almost took out Camden County. Camden is 1-0 in the region. Valdosta obviously is 1-0 in the region. Now, you know who Valdosta plays this week? Richmond Hill.
Please tell me. I thought I was hoping you was going to tell me they was playing Colquitt.
No, Camden is hosting Colquitt this week.
Ooh.
Valdosta is traveling up to Richmond Hill. Let's see. And Lowndes is playing Dunbar. That's the schedule this week. So Richmond Hill and Lowndes are at the bottom of the barrel at 0-1 in the region. Hopefully that changes soon. So let's take a look at what Region 4, our first round playoff counterparts, are doing. Newton is at 1-0 in their region. Parkview is at 1-0. Archer, this is why you never know how it's going to go. Archer is 3-3 overall, but you know what? They're still 1-0 in the region. And they're going to be at Parkview this week. So it's going to be interesting. It looks like the championship game in Region 4 is going to come down to between Newton and Parkview. So Grayson, by losing to Newton, they remove themselves probably. There's still a mathematical chance they could have a 3-way tie for first and still win on their tiebreaker rules. But as it stands right now, Newton and Parkview looks like the kings of Region 4 right now. So you have Newton at 1-0, Parkview 1-0, Archer at 1-0, and Grayson, South Gwinnett, and Brookwood at 0-1 in the region. So there you go. That's Region 1 and Region 4. Here's the rankings. It's safe to say that our Lowndes Vikings are not in the rankings this week. So this is the composite rankings, all the rankings put together across the state, and there's 6 different legitimate validated ranking services out there. So 7A, Buford's number 1, Mill Creek, Colquitt County, and Walton are tied for 3rd. Carrollton at 6-1 is number 5. Newton 6, Parkview 7, Westlake at 8, Grayson 9, Norcross 10, and there's 3 teams tied for 11. That's North Cobb, Peachtree Ridge, and Milton. So there you go. So anyway,
I don't know.
Now
I will allude back to a question you asked. I don't
Okay.
know what 4 or 5 weeks ago, maybe.
All right.
You asked me if I thought a South Georgia team could win a state title again.
That's right.
And my answer is still yes.
Okay.
If you ask me if Lowndes will win a state title again, the answer is yes. Valdosta, possibly, maybe. I say that because I had a conversation with a Lounge fan Saturday.
Yeah.
And he asked me how long I thought that the fan base and the administration should give Adam Carter.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said somewhere between 3 to 5 years. He said, "Why 3 to 5?" I said, because I can almost guarantee you in 4 he wins a state title. And he asked me why. And I told him, I said, because the size that everybody keeps referring back to that Lounge doesn't have right now, it's coming back.
You think so?
I seen it.
Okay.
I mean, we got some big boys in the middle school right now. I mean, there's some big boys in the middle schools for their age.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got kids that are 7th and 8th grade standing in at 6'3", 6'4", weighing.
That's what I like to hear.
Weighing in at close to 200 pounds. Some of them are 220. I mean, there's some big youngins coming, and there's some athletic youngins coming.
Listen, man, the current varsity team has some pretty large kids as well. I'm not sure. They're just not playing right now. Maybe they're just not as developed yet. I'm not sure. But we do have some size coming. And I think the size that we have now is fine if they were completely ready for the 3-3 stack defense. Or I'm still convinced that they're not quite. It's not clicking for them yet.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's got to be a reason why coaches love that defense. I just haven't figured it out yet. Donna Snellgrove says he's talking. I guess she's talking about you. He's talking about last year's 9th grade when Tate Snellgrove was quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that last year's 9th grade team had a lot of size to it.
Last year's 9th grade team had some size to it and a lot of athletes.
Wouldn't that be this year's junior varsity team?
Yeah, it's this year's. Some of them this year's JV. Now some of them are hurt. Some of those big time playmakers that team had on it last year, 9th grade, are injured. One of them one of them damaged his knee pretty significantly. I don't remember what exactly he hurt, what exactly he tore or pulled or whatever, but he was walking around in a knee brace for a long time, and I still don't think he's healthy. You've got Tyler Parker, who's playing a little bit on Friday nights, but even he's had his knee issues this year. We've saw him several times with a knee brace on. You've got several playmakers on that crew who can go get it, and
absolutely
you give them time because and what I mean is when those guys that were in 9th grade last year, when they are seniors, they will have enough size that has come in from the middle schools. They'll have enough all that when all that comes together, that should be the group right there.
Hold on, Chase. I had to take that hat off because it was getting hot too.
Yeah, you're looking a little flushed. You sure you're feeling okay, Larry?
Well, I just had to straighten out my 52-year-old hair. Listen, when you get in the 50s, I'm just thankful I still have hair. Can I say that out loud?
Yeah, hey, I get it. 100%. I get it. Everybody asks me why I grew my hair out, so I can say I still got hair.
Absolutely, man. So I feel confident that we are destined for better days as a program. We're just going, we just, for whatever reason, we're just going through a rough patch right now. So we're going to be loyal fans that we are. We're still going to continue to cheer as loud and as proud for this team as possible. We're going to grumble along the way. That's what fans do, right?
That's what we do.
But we're still backing our team. That's for sure.
Yeah, because I can promise you, I don't care if Lowndes is bottom of the barrel and hadn't won a game all year. You ain't gonna trash talk my Vikings if you're from anywhere else. I promise you. I will defend them. I don't care. It don't matter to me.
That's right.
You ain't gonna trash talk my boys.
Yeah. Now, Trainer says that there is no excuse for Lowndes not to go 3-1 the next 4 games. You know, I can see his point. So his one loss, he's probably chalking up to Colquitt County. So you've got Dunbar, Richmond Hill, and Camden. He's saying that there's no excuse that we shouldn't beat those 3 teams. The one that you're stewing over is Camden County, aren't you?
Yeah. You knew.
I can see it on your face.
Oh, you knew where I was going with that one. Camden is always Camden is one of those games, man. You don't know what you're going to get out of Camden, bro. It's just no matter how good Lowndes is, Colquitt just or not Colquitt, but Camden just I don't know if they're just close as far as their
Yeah.
personnel that they have that comes through their program, if they're just that close to our personnel or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know, but it's something Camden's like that weird outlier, man. It's kind of like the Georgia and Florida game sometimes. They're just a weird outlier. I mean, it's kind of like Florida State and North Carolina State. No matter how good Florida State is, North Carolina State just matches up well. I think Camden just matches up well with us, and you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So could
Now,
be 3-1, could be 2-2.
If Trainer is right, let's assume for a second that he's right, and we go 3-1 over the next 4 games, right? So that would make us what, 2-2 in the region, with a loss to Colquitt and a loss to Valdosta. So that would put us in a solid 3rd seed. Now, there is an outside shot, a mathematical shot that Camden would lose to us in that scenario, right? Yeah. And let's say that they get beat by Colquitt this week, so that would put them at 2 losses. Mm-hmm. Let's say Valdosta still has to play Colquitt County next week. Let's say they lose that game. And then let's also assume for a second that maybe Camden beats Valdosta.
Hold on. Time out. You said let's assume Valdosta loses that game. No, Valdosta is going to lose that game.
Oh, I'm just play along with my scenario. So there could be a chance that there may be a 3-way tie for the second seed. For the second seed, and then the region tiebreaker would take effect to break the tie. So you may have a 3-way tie between Camden, Lowndes, and Valdosta.
And Valdosta would probably win the tiebreaker.
Well, it depends, because I think the tiebreaker is points allowed between the teams involved in the tie. I can't remember the exact one, but anyway, and so those 37 points that we gave up to Valdosta, they're huge, because we're already in a 10-point deficit to Valdosta if it comes down to points allowed.
Yeah. I don't know how that tiebreaker works. I don't understand it. I think there needs to be a mathematical change to that, I guess is more the word. I think it needs to be points allowed versus points allowed against common opponents versus points scored against common opponents.
Yeah, in this region, as long as I can remember, it's always points allowed.
Yeah, there needs to be an outlier there.
Yeah, so anyway, but even in a tiebreaker situation, because we would have the head-to-head tiebreaker over Camden, we would get the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
Even if Valdosta would win that. Now, if Camden wins the tiebreaker and they get the 2nd seed, then we would lose a head-to-head situation against Valdosta, and we would be bounced to the 4th seed. Because you never know how these tiebreakers are going to work out.
Yeah. I see.
Trainer says that it's points allowed in region games only. Okay, so he's saying in all region games. Yeah. If that's the case, all bets are off.
Yeah. All right, man. This region is so upside down right now outside of Colquitt. Till I think the other 4 teams in this region are pretty much all equal right now, as far as I'm concerned.
That's right.
Which makes for some good football. If you want to travel around and watch some good football games, probably makes for some good, really, really good football games.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So I've always said Region 1's kind of like the SEC of high school football. We love to beat up on each other way too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead of beating up on the rest of everybody else. So.
Now Camden worries me a little bit, just because we have given up quite a few rushing yards this year, and that's Camden's bread and butter, man.
Bread and butter. Yep.
They will kill you with feet. They will kill you with 3 to 4 yards at a time, and they're perfectly content with doing it.
That's why I keep trying to say you ain't got to be big and flashy, but you do got to get a job done, and 4 or 5 yards of the clip will get you there all night long.
Absolutely, man. So it's going to test us that night. That's for sure. So anyway, that's That's the way the region is shaping up, fellas. I mean, I hope Trainer's right. The best case scenario is for us to go 4-0. But at this point, I'm just going to be realistic. Listen, there's no one that's been more optimistic than me this year, right? I've viewed this thing with crimson colored glasses. I've claimed early on that we were going to win the region, so that is obviously not going to happen now. I have claimed early on that we were going to beat both Valdosta and Colquitt. That's going to be a stretch now. I got to be honest with you. If I'm going to save any semblance of credibility, we've got a uphill hill to climb. So that game against Colquitt County, unless we improve in a hurry against all those D1 athletes, we might be in for a long night. I hope I'm wrong on that. But that's why they play the game, right?
Yeah, here's the thing. Is Colquitt completely unbeatable? No, nobody's completely unbeatable. Could Lowndes potentially produce an upset that night and maybe just catch Colquitt being too full of themselves? It's happened before. Example, C. Grayson last year.
Yeah.
So could it happen? Yes. Are the odds in our favor this year? Probably a little more than they should be. And I'll say that because this year it's at home in the Palace.
Yeah.
So, hey, you know what? As long as we show up loud, and hey, Larry, look at it on the bright side. At least for me and you,
yeah,
we ain't got to go listen to that aggravating sound they keep playing over there at the hog pen.
Absolutely.
I couldn't stand that. Oh man, it makes my skin crawl just thinking about it.
All right, so
god awful sound.
As far as Class 7A goes this year, Chase, I gotta be honest with you. It just seems like there's 5 super teams this year. Whether we were great or not this year, it just seems like there's 5 super teams. Buford, Mill Creek, Colquitt County, Walton, and Newton.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I saw the Buford, Mill Creek, and Colquitt. They don't surprise me because we've seen that happen. Shoot, Mill Creek won the state title last year, and we know how loaded they are. Buford is loaded. We know that. Colquitt County is loaded. But I didn't see Walton coming, and I didn't see Newton coming. So
they may be suffering from move-ins. I think that's what we're calling it now, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. Just making sure I didn't want to rub anybody the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they may have gotten some move-ins. I'm not 100% sure. I don't keep up with that North Georgia crap. It's too much to worry about. I do know that like you said, the 3 on top don't surprise me. They are what they are. Those are 3 loaded up, studded up teams.
Yeah, Michael Jarvis, one of the commenters, would agree with you. He's a big Packer fan. Appreciate you watching, Michael. He says, good show, LG, but all I can say is go Pack. He's got a lot to squeal about this year.
Yeah, he does. And from what I understand, Colquitt may starting next year may suffer from what we'll call it the Viking sickness for now.
That's right.
I think y'all may suffer from Viking sickness next year, and y'all may start to trickle down a little bit. Because from my understanding, if y'all don't win it this year, kind of goes a little downhill after this. So,
Michael, if you don't get us this year, you better get us this year. That's all I'm saying.
Y'all better go. Hey, if there was a team that was going to bring home a state title to South Georgia this year, it's going to have to be Colquitt County.
Yeah.
And by all means, I'm not a Pack fan at all. We get to the playoffs, I pull for every South Georgia team, because I want somebody to bring that trophy back south. So, as bad as I hate to say it, y'all get there, we'll be supporting y'all. Don't think we won't.
Michael Jarvis has got a better class next year.
Man, that ain't what I heard. That ain't what I heard. And if it's that 9th grade crew that our 9th grade crew played against last year,
all right.
You ain't impressed me much. I can promise you that.
Listen, we got we got one more topic before we call it a night, and that's this game coming up this week against Dunbar. So before we get to that, Jody Hewitt says you're not going to talk about NIL getting approved. LG, Jody, we talked about that last week. We did talk about that last week. So anyway, it's as a matter of fact, speaking of NIL, where's my notes at?
Oh Lord.
Okay, speaking of NIL, I'm going to look into the camera and say this. If you own a company and you would like to hire a washed up 52-year-old athlete, I'm willing to come out of retirement to promote your brand. My NIL phone number is open for business. 229-469-1205. We can do the deal live on the air. You can send me a message directly in Facebook Messenger. But if you own a pine straw company, I am open to an NIL deal and I will promote the heck out of your pine straw. So anyway, that's my listen. I ain't ashamed. You want to throw some NIL money my way? I'll be happy to sign on the dotted line.
Look, and athletes, I'm going to warn y'all. I'm going to warn y'all now. In your bio for NIL deals, you better be sending them to speak to your parents.
Absolutely, man.
Don't
That
get
is a
caught up in
landmine waiting to explode.
Yes, you better send them to talk to your parents. Don't talk to them. Don't get involved in that. Let your parents deal with that.
Listen,
that's my advice.
This Greg Maddox fella, he's starting to get on my nerves. He is
Oh,
becoming a grade A heckler. He says,
oh, did he?
He says they don't want no washed up Rebel LG.
He must be a Cook Hornet fan.
He is a Cook Hornet fan. There was
in that case, in Slack we trust.
Oh, shut up. Both of you. Just shut up. Oh my gosh. Put you in the penalty box again.
Look, man, my kids love Slack, dude. If Slack was in the house Friday
I love
night,
Byron Slack, man. I just love him. I just don't like him when he's wearing black and yellow.
Yeah, well, at least it's not black and gold.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
All right. Okay. All right. So Dunbar High School. I know they're 5-1, and I heard Adam Carter talk about them on Marty's show, Coach's show last night. And he's talking about they've got speed all over the field. There's a reason why they're 5-1. I don't know much about Dunbar. They're a South Florida team in that Fort Myers area. Now, when I think of South Florida powerhouses, I think of the Miami area, Fort Lauderdale area. I don't necessarily think of Fort Myers. So,
and last year they come up and played us too. So, I don't know.
I just don't expect, if a team's got great athletes, I expect them to do some damage early on, but attrition usually takes care of that in the second half.
Yeah, and I don't think they're a really, really big program. I don't think they've got a lot of players.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see probably about the size of what was that? What was the name of that school? Rock Creek or something like that we played.
Yeah, Rock Creek.
I think you're going to see players that are about the size a program probably the size of Rock Creek.
They are in a smaller district. They're in District 3S. In Florida, they have districts instead of regions.
Yes. I don't think they're going to travel with as many people. I don't think it's going to be any of that. So, I look for attrition to set in at halftime. I look for Lowndes to kind of do what we did against Gadsden and kind of wear them down until we could just physically just take over.
That's right.
So it's probably going to be a bumpy first half. It's probably going to be some ups and downs. But I look for Lowndes to pull away in the second half.
Absolutely. You got to, one of the things that Adam Carr was talking about was he said it on the show last night that there was he's going to play some different players this week. I don't know what he meant by that.
By that either, but I would love some more information on that, Coach Carter.
Yeah, we're going to have to show up to the game to see. Okay,
I think they should start releasing depth charts.
Absolutely, man. Okay, so here's Lowndes 22-23. Okay, so
hey, I got a question.
Emily, hold on. Emily Castleberry asked a question. She asked, what was the score from last year's game against Dunbar? And I've got that for her. So we beat Dunbar last year 43-12.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting something similar this year.
Yeah, problem. Yeah. Yeah. I got a question, LG. And somebody
Yeah.
asked me this the other day, and I said, "Well, I have to run it past LG and ask him." You know, we have the Valdosta, Georgia theme song that plays before in the opening credits and whatnot.
Yeah.
So they want to know when we're going to switch to the new song.
The new song? What are you talking about?
The new Mighty Viking song.
Oh, okay. When I get around to actually putting in the work to change it out in the listen, video editing is not a short process.
No, it's not. No,
It's not. And that's why I haven't done it yet. When football season starts, it takes all that I have just to edit the photos, because people get on to me about waiting until Wednesday or Thursday to release the photos. Like, that stuff takes time. You know, when you take over 600 shots, it takes a while to edit those shots.
Yeah. Yeah. LG still hasn't posted the middle school photos, guys.
I know. And I've been promising you that I've been doing that for 3 or 4 weeks now.
Yeah.
So there's a backlog of things that I've got to do.
Yeah. LG's got a lot on his plate. Y'all be patient. I know it gets asked. I get asked all the time. When are we gonna debut the new Mighty Viking song? I said probably when they produce a full video for it, but you know.
Yeah, so what was that score from last? Emily, I don't know what you think. I remember giving a huge check too.
Yeah, Dunbar was hit really hard by the hurricane last year.
Oh, that's right. That was the hurricane game.
Yes,
That's
that was
right.
the game the Lowndes raised all the money for Dunbar because their high school got hit really hard, and they still made the drive all the way up here. So I thought it was a really, really class act by Lowndes to donate all the money that I forgot. I think it was I forget how much money we donated to them last year. It was a pretty good amount.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so Emily, so Emmy Gary says, and I was expecting a thank you post, but never saw one. Well, they did. They thanked Lowndes High School in general. So Dunbar did do the classic thing and thank Lowndes High School in general. So anyway, so yeah, they got a check for like $15,000 last year from donations from our fan base. So I thought that was just outstanding.
That meant a lot. That meant a lot more to that program than y'all probably understand.
Yeah.
To be able to replace some of the stuff that they lost. So
yeah, absolutely. And Emily
extremely hard.
Emily Casper, she's married to Jason, our newest sponsor. So Emily, thank you so much. Tell Jason thank you for putting his trust in us and helping to promote his brand, Case Tree Services. So anyway, so what's your score prediction as we close out tonight's show?
37-17.
Yeah, that's about right. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Lowndes 42-21.
Okay.
So that sound good?
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that too.
All right. So I guess before we end the show, we got to do a little giveaway here. This is where you're supposed to stall while I load this thing.
No. I'm out of stalls. I mean, unless you want me to talk about.
You're out of stalls. I love it. All right, let's go ahead and do this thing. Wrap up the show. All right, here we go. Hey, Ralph Shiver. Congratulations to Ralph Shiver. Ralph, I will contact you via Facebook Messenger to let you know to get your shirt size. And I'll be honest with you guys, we're down to limited sizes. So Ralph, I'm going to ask you your size. And if we don't have that, we'll go to the next size available. And I hope that can be used by you or someone in your household. So anyway, that's usually the way we handle that. Thank you so much to everyone that tuned in. And let's just keep it classy out there, guys. I'm going to end this thing by reminding you the quote of the week. Peace is not absent of conflict. It is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. So we're always going to have conflict out there that rises up. But to be able to handle that conflict by peaceful means, that's the definition of peace. So I hope you guys take that to heart. I know that I have. I've learned that through personal experience through the years because I used to be a hothead. Trust me, I used to be a passionate hothead fan, but I've learned over the years to try to cool my jets a little bit. So hopefully you guys got something out of tonight's show. But as always, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for being a Viking fan, whether you agree with me or you don't. I'm just appreciative that you're here. And I think I speak for Chase as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Me and
So-
Larry love what we do, and y'all make it all worthwhile with the comments and the interaction with us. And me and Larry enjoy it. We really do.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So
we love what we do.
So with that said, we're going to sign off by saying, may God bless every single one of you. And as always, go Vikings.